enough if.
Yeah, it's quite a few ifs, and bearing in mind that his hard pulling was such an issue when he was in his pomp 2 seasons ago, when he's this fresh, must it be a concern again?
Well, it's got to be, but the main concern is you just don't know what he is at the moment. We know what he was, but that is 700 days ago, and it will be some effort to come and win off that sort of break.
It certainly will. They're assembling for the parade in front of the stands prior to the Stan James Champion Hurdle Challenge Trophy, and they will be getting in the order. Let's have a chat about Annie Power, who of course is the only mare in the race, and she gets a £7 pull. When Flaky Dove and Dawn Run were winning, they just got the £5.
I know, it's a scandal really, isn't it? She wins by half a length. All the geldings can count themselves hard done by. Look, she is probably the best horse in the race in many ways, but this wasn't the initial plan. She's had to be rerouted from probably the mares, possibly the World Hurdle again, where she was such a wonderful second a couple of years ago. She looks quite lean, but then I think that's how she tends to look in her races. And again, you're left with a sort of first race over 2 miles for more than 2 years. It just you don't know, do you? I mean, it's that sort of race. We have very few certainties in here, whereas a month ago it was all cut and dried.
Yes, and Faheen, her stable companion, having that setback visited upon him, it meant that the way was laid clear for her to enter this race. But this will be a totally new test for her, a drop back to 2 miles and in this company.
On what we now know is lively-ish surface, so it won't be as big a test as maybe she'd ideally like.
Here is Camping Ground then, who has a mark of 163, and he was an impressive winner of the Relkeel on New Year's Day. He appeared not to stay 3 miles in the cleave, so there was a quick change of plan, rerouted from the World Hurdle. King George was plan A, plan B the World Hurdle, plan C the Champion Hurdle. At least he can use his main asset, which is to bowl along. He's a free-going, attacking sort of horse. Here's Hargam, third in the Triumph last season, behind 2 stable companions. He's been accompanying My Tent of Yours in the Gallops. Identity Thief seems to have blossomed into a better horse this season for Henry de Bromhead, and he won the Fighting Fifth despite making errors. There's Lil Rockefeller, who was supplemented into the race after a tremendous season. He will be a hard nut. My Tent of Yours, second in this race when we last saw him in the 2014 Champion Hurdle. Does he retain all of that large ability? Nichols Canyon rather flopped in the Neptune last season, but he has gone from strength to strength this. And there is Peace & Co., the winner of the Triumph Hurdle, but he seems to have unlearned all the lessons he had as a juvenile, pulling too hard and then finding little last time. Sempre Medici has improved quite a bit this season, and he's earned his place in the Champion Hurdle, according to trainer Willie Mullins. There's sign of a victory, the 5th of the 5 runners for Nicky Henderson, who was also considering the county at one stage, but gives him a go in the big one. Can this be the new one's year? So unlucky in the 2014 Champion Hurdle, argued many, and he has had a clearer run at his preparation this time around. Top Notch was second in the Triumph Hurdle. The sounder surface might be counting against him, but he will certainly try. And there is the mare Annie Power, whose entrance into this race adds a further imponderable. Of course, she was famous or infamous for that fall at the last in the David Nicholson. What can she do against the geldings in the big one today?
I don't know what she can do, but punters think she's a 5-2 chance. She hasn't really moved. She's been solid, but there's a huge gamble on the local horse, the new one. Not for the first time in this race. Personally, I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan. I don't know how he's suddenly managed to get the speed to win a Champion Hurdle, but it's weakness on the other horses, really. Identity Thief is very, very weak. Nichols Canyon is very, very weak. Both of them around about 8-1 now, having been shorter. My Tent of Yours is holding his price. I'm a little bit surprised at that. It'll be an absolutely amazing training performance if they can get that horse back after such a long time off. He's just about double figures. Reported money for Sempre Medici from 25s into 16s with some boards. 20s you can still get, but it's about one horse really. It's the Hope of Gloucestershire, the new one, to make amends for being knocked over 2 years ago and then being too slow last year. He's 7-2 on some boards now. I just don't get it. Annie Power 5-2, the new one 7-2. The rest are pretty weak in the market.
That's quite a notable move for the new one. Just a couple of notices. Annie Power and Nichols Canyon are both wearing earplugs, and of course Annie Power doesn't have the hood that she wore last time.
No, they don't think she'll be pulling in this sort of race, and she probably won't. I can see the logic there. I think we're going to go pretty fast enough here, and she should be able to settle.
These are recorded shots of them going to post, and she seems pretty settled, Annie Power, on the way to post. Let's talk about this strength behind the new one, Jonathan. Is it sentiment, or is it the argument that Nigel Twiston-Davies has very bullishly put forward, that he's had a proper run at the champion hurdle this time around?
I think it's more of that, and the fact that of all the contenders, he's been the only trainer to come out and give confident quotes about his horse. Everyone else has sort of been just sort of not sure what they're really expecting. He's expecting the new one to run well. I think that's reflected by the price now.
How do we see this race being run? Is it camping ground towards the fall with that free-going style?
Nichols Canyon, I think, will try and be prominent. He's best when he can. Now, I think Annie Power will be ridden quite prominently. Camping ground, yes, I'm sure that will be up there. Hargan, maybe. You've got Little Rockefeller, sort of a chase leaders type. I don't think we'll all be short of pace.
And how about the Nicky Henderson quintet? Is Peace & Co the most innately talented of them?
Yeah,
or is it My Tent of Yours?
I suppose it's My Tent or Yours, really. I think Peace & Co is a fascinating runner. I mean, he's just all gone wrong this year. He really made an impression as a juvenile. He has got the ability to run very well today, and the drying ground's in his favour. But, he's just run two stinkers, hasn't he, this year? Pulled too hard one day and didn't try too hard. The horse himself next time.
Yeah, stinker first time, slightly disappointing the second time, and the trainer seemed quite satisfied with that. And that is quite surprising. But then, of course, they've had a tinker around with him since.
They have. They've had some sort of wind up, and maybe that'll be the making of him. I don't know, but there are lots of maybes, aren't there?
Are we underestimating Nichols Canyon, a multiple Grade 1 winner?
He had a multiple Grade 1 winner, but he disappointed here last year. I'd be worried about the ground drying out a bit for him.
Here they come for the champion hurdle.
Turn, they cross over the steeplechase course to begin with. And 12 of them. So they're out on the track now. They turn away to get themselves in order. The flag is raised. The starty is ready to begin this year's Stan James Champion Hurdle. And now they turn, and they got a little way from the tapes yet. They'll come round the turn. They'll be jumping 8 flights of hurdles in total. Nichols Canyon leading the line round towards the starter. The new one, Little Rockefeller, with him as well. And they're off. A race away, and the red jacket of the new one heads down to the first of the 8 flights. Nichols Canyon on the right. Close to him, one from the right is Annie Power, and then Identity Thief in the maroon colours. Peace & Co. A slight error from him, with the distinguishing white cap towards the rear of the field. Sign of a Victory is dropped in final position as Annie Power has come through to take it up. Goes on to the new one, the red colours, and Nichols Canyon in the black and beige jackets. They're followed by My Tent or Yours, a white cap, who's in 4th place, narrowly from Identity Thief in the maroon colours. On the extreme left, the white face of Sempre Medici, and the dark green colours of Top Notch is next to him. The grey Hargam follows, and then Peace & Co. Behind these is Camping Ground in green and white colours, and the black and white jacket of Sign of a Victory. About 15 lengths behind the leader is the back marker as they all take number 2 safely, and away they go to the far side. So the favourite, Annie Power, Ruby Walsh showing in front, and now leads by a length. Nichols Canyon, Paul Townend against the running rail, level with Sam Twiston-Davies on the new one. They're followed through by Barry Geraghty on My Tent or Yours, who's 1 length behind them and holding 4th position. Then Brian Cooper on Identity Thief, who holds 5th. There's a little gap to Little Rockefeller and Trevor Whelan, who's towards the inside of Top Notch, and Darryl Jacob. Hargam is following those through the grey. He is the man command of Mark Walsh as they come on towards flight number 3. Heading towards it now, Sign of a Victory and Camping Ground with Hargam towards the rear of the field. And Nichols Canyon a little flat-footed there, but maintains 4th position as My Tent or Yours has pulled his way through into 2nd place to chase Annie Power as they run up towards flight number 4. The new one is close up. He's about a neck behind in 3rd place. Then Nichols Canyon from Identity Thief as Top Notch has begun to get closer. Little Rockefeller and Piece of Co at next. Sempre Medici is the back marker as they jump over 4. Then Camping Ground and Hargam are just preceding him. Up towards the top of the hill, though, it's Annie Power continues to lead. My Tent or Yours in 2nd position. The new one is about a neck behind in 3rd. Nichols Canyon, Identity Thief are right in behind them, 4 and 5. And then comes Top Notch, who continues to make progress as they jump the one at the top of the hill. Sign of a Victory and Peace and Co are next. Hargam is struggling. Camping Ground is struggling. And Sempre Medici is the back marker. About to turn left-handed, they run for home now in this Stan James Champion Hurdle. And it is still Ruby Walsh on Annie Power leading. Barry Geraghty on My Tent or Yours in 2nd. The new one, Nichols Canyon, Identity Thief behind those. Top Notch has moved through into 6th position as they run downhill to the 3rd last flight of hurdles. Then Sign of a Victory picking up. Little Rockefeller is next. Peace and Co and Camping Ground head the remainder. 3 from the finish. Annie Power, a slender leader. She got over it just in front to My Tent or Yours in 2nd place. The new one, the red jacket on the outside. Nichols Canyon trying to get through on the inside in the black and beige. They come now to the 2nd last. Top Notch is in 5th place. Sign of a Victory is running on. Annie Power 2 out, got over it just. My Tent or Yours though is still with her. The new one in 3rd position. Round the home turn, Annie Power now the super sub leads by a length and a half. Goes on to My Tent or Yours in 2nd position. Nichols Canyon, the new one, are the next couple of runners heading down towards the last flight in the Champion Hurdle, and it's Annie Power comes towards it now. She's about 4 lengths clear. This year she jumped it perfectly. Annie Power heads up the hill. It's going to be 3rd time lucky for her. The super sub Annie Power has won the Stan James Champion Hurdle. It'll be tied for 2nd place. A great run from My Tent or Yours has fought that out with Nichols Canyon. The new one and Top Notch were the next pair.
Annie Power's date with destiny has come and she has won the Champion Hurdle, stepping in after Fahine, her sable companion, met with a setback. She was supplemented for the race, coming towards that last, everyone with their heart in their mouth, remembering what happened in the David Nicholson last year. Not a bit of it in her mind, because she jumped it as brilliantly as she jumped all the preceding hurdles as well. And Ruby Walsh and Willie Mullins have won another Champion Hurdle, as has Rich Ritchie, an able deputy for Fahine. Annie Power has set her brilliance on this race and has beaten My Tent or Yours and Nichols Canyon, who are locked together at the line. The stablemate Nichols Canyon of the winner. And here's the outcome of the photo finish in 2nd. My Tent or Yours is 2nd again, as he was 2 years ago behind Jeski. A really excellent run for him, for Barry Geraghty and Nicky Henderson. And in 3rd it is Nichols Canyon, an honourable place for Paul Townend and Willie Mullins. So a 1st and 3rd for the Mullins team, and the mare, who it was said it would be a travesty were she not to have a Cheltenham Festival success to her name. 2nd in the 2014 World Hurdle, falling when she had the David Nicholson in her grasp last year. She has now gone even higher than that. She's won a Champion Hurdle.
And she's been given a really positive ride to do so. Also, had obviously no doubts about her stamina. They set the stall out early. The few who looked like they wanted to go on. Nichols Canyon wanted to go on. There are others, the new one, but very soon Annie Power got to the front. Her jumping was slick, and she was a very impressive winner. She may even have won, who knows, without the allowance. She's won by a wide enough margin, 5 or 6, 4.5 lengths, who knows. She certainly made use of her hefty allowance, and she's galloped them relentlessly into the ground. Time about 3 minutes 46, or another really good time, a bit quicker than the first race, and there was no fluke about it. I thought it was a magnificent run, incidentally. 700 days off by My Tent or Yours, who's a little bit keener than ideal. That is some comeback to do, to come back and be placed in the Champion Hurdle after that sort of absence.
Absolutely. Annie Power becoming only the 4th mare ever to win this.
And for all the ums and ahs and the whatever, the best horse has beaten the 2nd best horse, and the 3rd best horse 3rd, and the 4th best horse 4th.
Simple when you look at it like that, isn't it?
Exactly. My Tent or Yours, as Steve has said, great